Hi guys, this is Sai Kumar Kurtiwada. In this video, we will talk about logout module in this video. And we spoke about how to log in, how to register, and how to use a top bar in an application. So now we will only target logout module. So let me quickly jump into Visual Studio Code. And here we have completed our top bar component and along with the login and registration. So let me go here and you can see, let me reload. This is the output which we have observed in our previous video. Now when I click on this, there is a logout functionality. When I click on this logout, it should open a pop-up for the confirmation, and once the user confirms, it has to log out and clear the storage whatever we have. So now let me go into this mock API. Let's see what are the users which we have created before. So there are two users which we have created. One is sai@gmail and one is sai123@gmail.com. So these are the two users which we have. So now what I'll do is when I click on this logout, I should open a pop-up. So that is a confirmation pop-up. Let me go into our Angular material, and what we'll do is, so here what I'll do is I'll just go into the common, and inside the common I'll be creating the components over here. So let me go into our components. Let me go into a cd space src app and common, and inside that let me go into the components. Now what I'll do is I'll create a component over here, ng generate component, and the component name is confirmation component, and I want to create a standalone component for this. Let me hit enter. Now I created a standalone component and I want to use this standalone component in my application. So where we can use this standalone? Now this top bar component is registered at a particular module. So what is that module? If I go to our app.module.ts, so we have a top bar component over here and predefined component here, material module here. So let me create one more module for us. That is nothing but user defined module. So here we have predefined module. Now I want to create a user defined module. So let me create a user defined module. Let me go back cd dot dot, and where we have these modules, if you see we have a modules inside the common. So let me go into the common and let me go into the modules, and inside the modules let me create this particular module, that is nothing but user defined module. So ng generate module, and the module name is user defined module, or just give user defined. Let me hit enter. Now it created a module for us, that is nothing but user defined module. If you go into the modules, you can see a user defined modules, and inside these user defined modules what we'll do is we will import our required modules and we will export that modules. Now we have a standalone component, that is nothing but a confirmation pop-up. So whenever we are using a confirmation pop-up, it is a standalone component. Hence if you want to use that, you have to import in your modules. So let me import here confirmation component, and let me use a exports where I can export this confirmation component and save this. Now we are combining a modular structure with our standalone components. Why I have created this confirmation component as a standalone? Just try to understand, this is an independent component and I want to make this as reusable component. That's why I have created it as a standalone component. It's up to you. If you want to go with a modular component, you can go with that. If you want to go with standalone components throughout the application, you can go with that. Now let me close this, and now we have this particular user defined module. So let me use that user defined module. So now our application will load this user defined module, and I can use that user defined module even on the top bar component. So let me go into the top bar component, and now what we'll do is we will use a constructor and we will write our logic to open that particular modal pop-up. So before that we have to check how that component is working. So for that sake, what I can do is first we have to open it. So let me go into our topbar.component.html, and this is my mat icon. So I'll use a click event on this. So let me use a click event, and this click event will call a function that is nothing but logout, and this logout will be defined in our top bar component. So let me define this inside the top bar component, and it will not return anything, and we are using this component in our HTML, hence it will be a public method. So now this method is responsible to open a pop-up first. For that sake, I'll use a constructor. And how to open that modal pop-up or a dialog? So we can go to the examples. If you click on this, it is opening a delayed one and without animation. It is very speed. You can see here, I clicked on this, it opened open dialog. This is also a very big dialog. So now I can use this particular one. So let me copy this open dialog one, and that is my HTML. So let me copy everything. Just copy this and put it in our confirmation component.html and paste this. So now this is our content. So let me remove all this unused content and we will frame our own content. So if you see here, we have something like mat dialog title and the content and the actions. So actions will be coming in the bottom, dialog content will be coming in the middle, and the title will be coming on the top. Let me save this. So all this content and all these values will be changed based on our components data. That means these will be a dynamic content. So we will make it dynamic. As of now, I'm making it as static. Let me save this and let me go to the top bar component and save this. Now we want to open this confirmation component. To open that confirmation component, we should have the access to our material module. So what is that material module we are using over here? That is mat dialog module. Let me copy this mat dialog module and go to our material module, and here let me import this and export it and import it. Let me save this. Now your material module have the capability to use this mat dialog module. Let me go into our top bar TS, and inside the constructor, let me give a private dialog, and this is something like mat dialog. So this is my mat dialog, and whenever the user clicks on logout, then we have to open this dialog. For opening that dialog, we can use this dot dialog dot open, and for this open you can pass a component. What is our component? Our component is confirmation component, and this has some set of options as well. So that is nothing but a configurations. So if you see the configurations, we can give width, we can give height, we can give backdrop, everything we can use. So for now, let me save this. How it will show without this options. So let me go back to our browser, and you can see that mat dialog content is not a known element. Why? Because it is a standalone component. So if you are using a standalone component, you have to import that material modules in confirmation.component.ts also. So let me go into the modules, and here I'll import material module. Let's save this and go here. You can see that material module. Now where is my logout button? Here is my logout button. Let me click on this. You can see install Angular, develop across all platforms, cancel and install. So this is something which we have hard coded, but I want to pass some data to this. So let me pass the data to that. So how we can pass is, if you go to the top bar.ts, here we can pass the data. So let me pass data, and this data is of three types. One is the title. We want the title, and whenever we have the title, we can pass that set of title data. So let me pass something like log out confirmation, and let me pass a message. The message is something like, do you want to log out? Or let me make it in a simple fashion, are you sure to log out? And we have something called as buttons. So we can show two types of buttons or three types of buttons. So that's why I'm making these buttons as an array. So let me make it as an array, and this array will have something called as a label. So what is a label we have? And the label is something like no, and let me use something called as a callback function, callback, and here let me use an arrow function for now, and let me use console.log callback from no, and let me use one more button, and that button will also have a label, and that will have a label as s, and let me use a callback again, and this will have a callback function. Let me use console.log callback from yes. Why? Because this confirmation, I want to use it as an alert as well in the future. If you want to use as an alert, just we can pass one button. For alerts, you will have the title, you will have the message, but you will have only one button, that is OK button. So now let me save this, and also let me pass some colors. So let me use a color, and the color would be something like primary or danger or ascent. So let me pass ascent, and here let me pass the color as primary and save this. Now I'll pass this data to my confirmation component. So let me go into confirmation.ts and receive that data. How to receive the data in our confirmation component? Just go to the constructor and there is something called as inject. Before that I'll use public @inject of mat dialog data. So there will be something called as data. So let me go here and check how to receive the data in our TS of this dialog. So we don't have anything over here, but let me go into our this one and check how they are passing the data and receiving the data. If you see, this is mat dialog HTML and they are receiving the data. If you go and check your dialog overview example, you have mat dialog and just you are opening it, you can see that dialog ref. So this is my dialog ref, the reference of this dialog, and there is something called as mat dialog data. So let me copy this mat dialog data and put it over here, and let me use inject directly without a public. Inject this mat dialog data, and let me use a reference for this data, public data, and flower base open close. So now this is the one which we have, but parameter data explicitly has any. Okay, you can give any. Save this. Now this data will hold all the data whatever we are passing from this top bar component, that is this whole data. Let me show you that with a console. So let me go inside the constructor and use console.log of data and save this. Go here and click on this. Let me inspect this and go to the console. You can see an object where you got the buttons, message, and the title. So what I'll do is I'll use this data and display the content in my confirmation. So what I'll do, just I'll go here and I'll use an interpolation where I'll be using this data question mark dot, because if they are not sending that data with a title, it would break. So that's why I'm using data dot title with a question mark, and this is the content, that is the message whatever we are passing. So this can be data question mark dot message, and here we have the buttons, but we are using these buttons with a callback functions. So what I can do is ng hyphen container. So I just want to loop this, and let me remove this, and star ng for is equal to, I want to loop this, let button of data question mark dot buttons. So I want to loop this, and this looping will have only one button. Let me copy this button and pass it over here. So I'll not use this mat dialog close, and let me make this as button dot label, because we are passing a label to that button. Let me go here and we will use something called as click. When the user clicks this, it should call the button's callback. So button question mark dot callback of. So this callback, if the callback exists, we should call that. Otherwise, we should not call anything. Let me save this. Or you can even check whether you have the button callback or not. If you have the button callback, you can call it. Otherwise, you can just ignore it. So let me remove this and save this. Now go here and just click on this. Click on this. You got no and S. So we got the no value and the S value. When I click on S, you can see callback from S. If I click on no, there is something called as callback from no. So that means whatever the values you are passing from there, whatever the callback functions you are passing from there, they are calling or they are invoking. So now we will pass a color as well for this. Color with the values whatever we are getting from our button. So I can use something like a color as a property binding, and I'll pass button dot color. Save this. Now go here, just click here, sign out, and you can see this is in red color, this is in primary color. So that's how you can see your whole logout confirmation. But if you pass a bigger data, the size of this confirmation will be bigger, and if you are passing smaller data, the size of the confirmation will be smaller. So that's how it would be responsive. And in this case, what I'll do is I'll just want to make this logout confirmation width a big, and I want to give a minimum width for this particular alert. So let me go here and pass my configurations. So this is one configuration which we passed, that is data, and we have something called as min width. Minimum width is I just want to pass 400 pixel and save this. Go here, go to profile, and you got 400 pixels of width. And maximum width is not required because it will take full screen. And also whenever I click on a escape button, so it is closing, I should not close that. That can be controlled by using disable close. Let me pass disable close as true. This is a boolean value. Let me pass this disable close as true. Let me go here, click on this, and when I click on escape, it will not close until unless I click on no or yes, it will not close. Now even no and yes is not working as expected. So that's what the problem here. Now we want to close this particular dialog. So how to close this particular dialog? Let me go into this profile and click on sign out. When I click on no, it is calling the callback for us. That is nothing but no callback. And when I click on S, it is calling the S callback. This is absolutely fine. Now what we want to do is, whenever user clicks on no or S, it has to close that and it has to perform the other operations. So what I'll do is I can have a reference for this in our confirmation.ts. So what I'll do is I'll go here and I'll just create a public or private. It depends on you. So I can create a private dialog ref, and that ref will point to our dialog ref, that is mat dialog ref. And this mat dialog ref will have a component, and the component name is confirmation component. So here what I'll do is I'll use this dialog ref and I'll close the content. So I can use public because I want to use this inside my HTML. So let me copy this dialog ref, go into this, and once the user clicks on this, I can just call this dialog ref dot close method. So let me save this, and also let me save this. Now go back and go here. Let me click on sign out, and when I click on no, this is closed and you came back to our callback from no. And when I click on this and click on yes, it came back to our yes. So we are closing the pop-up and we are coming to the callback. So now what I'll do is I have these callbacks which are written over here, but always these callbacks will not be a smaller functions. It could be a larger functions. Here in this case, I don't have anything, just the pop-up should close. But here in this case, it is very important to handle a large amount of content. So what I'll do is I'll just remove this and I'll create a function called as this dot logout confirmed. So once the logout confirmation is done, then I want to perform some set of operations. My operations will include what it should include. It should include something like removing the storage values, and also it should navigate back to the login page. Now what I want to do here, I want to clear the local storage first. So how to clear the local storage? We already know that local storage dot clear will clear everything. But let me see, we have local storage constants and these are the IDs which we have, and I want to clear everything. So let me go here and use local storage dot clear, and I want to clear everything. After clearing this, I want to navigate the user back to the login page. For that sake, we need a router. So I can inject that router, private router, and the router service. Let me go here to the bottom, and when the user clicks on this logout confirmed, this dot router dot navigate off, I want to navigate to our login page and save this. Now go back to the browser, and when the user clicks on this and clicks on sign out, when he clicks on S, it logged out directly. So now let me show you sai@gmail.com and then sai@12345 and hit enter. So now it went here, and when I click on the sign out, when I click on no, it didn't move anywhere. When I click on sign out, when I click on S, it logged out. That means we have created our confirmation pop-up in a way where we are trying to create a common component. From now, whenever we want a confirmation, whenever we want an alert, we can use this particular pop-up and we can just pass the content to it. as the way I passed over here. So I have passed all my data configurations and then they are rendering over there. So now we have created our own confirmation component and we are passing the data to it. It automatically renders over there. If you want to customize this component, you can customize as you want. For now, I want only the title, message and the buttons. So this is about your sign out part. And one thing which is pending is showing this name. So here the name whatever we have, that is not the dynamic value. We have used the static content. So instead let me go into the application, and inside the application you have something called as username. So I want to show that complete username to our toolbar. That means this username I can get it from local storage and I can show it into the top bar component. Let me go here, and now what I'll do is just I'll go into our top bar dot ts, and here whenever the top bar component is loaded, then I'll be getting this particular value. So now what I can do, I can create something called as this dot, or I can use something called as username, and it is of type string, which is empty by default. And once this component is loaded, I'll just get this dot username is equal to local storage dot get item of, I want to get the item from local storage enums. So local, so it's not getting from the IntelliSense, let me get it from imports, import from dot slash dot slash dot slash, and let me go into the constants. Let me get the local storage constants. Here I can get local storage keys dot, I can get the username, and this username I can just assign to this dot username is equal to, and you can see this type of string or null is not assignable. So we need to check whether it is null or string. So if I am getting that value, just post that value, otherwise just post that empty string, or just pass username. If you don't get any username, that will be showing as username. So now this username I'll use inside our topbar.html. Go to the topbar.html, just remove this paragraph. Instead we want to get it from dynamic part, so username, and save this. Now just go here and you can see Sai Kumar Kortivada, but that is not a proper formatted stuff, because based on the registration part we will be showing that particular username, but I don't want to show that. I want to show in a proper formatted structure. So for that sake, let me use something called as title case. This is my pipe for this particular username, so I want to show that in a title case. Let me go here and you can see the title case. Each and every first letter after this space will be capital letter, so that is how it looks, and we are showing that Sai Kumar Kortivada. Now this is the name whatever we are showing. If you log in with other user, you will be showing that particular value. So that's about the logout and showing a dynamic value over here. Now in my next video we will talk about the profile part, because already we have the user and now we need to show the content of that particular person who logged in, and he should be giving an opportunity to update his particular profile details. So that we will do in the next video. Hope you like my explanation. If you like my video, like, share, subscribe to my channel for more updates. Signing off. Thank you.